Hey everybody. Chris, what the fuck? We're recording.
I'm sorry, it's blinding my eyes. Hi guys. Hi everybody. Welcome back to Classic Quest.
Yeah, welcome back to Classic Quest podcast.
And it begins.
This is HSR here.
And this is your boy Chris Chrome. What's up?
And your lady friend Bonnie.
Lady friend Bonnie.
This podcast is where we delve into the alleged classics of all time, and
although I'm very interested in surprise them.
Try to figure out which ones are and which ones aren't, and then that brings us to this week where, so I watched an interview of David Banner from 2015.
Okay, so since you gave it away, by the way, this week we decided to go with David Banner's new album, The God Box, just before he ruins it for me.
It was a little controversial according to me.
Okay, yeah. So as I was explaining,
go ahead.
I was watching this interview with DJ Vlad and David Banner, which is linked below, so you can get the same thing. And he was talking about this album, The God Box, and you got to keep in mind that at this time he's describing how it's complete, it's ready to go.
Right.
He describes some stuff about this song, Amy. I didn't know what that meant at the time.
Now we do.
And he was going on, and then I checked Spotify, and the album got released on Friday. And I'm like, wait a second.
What
this
are the
motherfucker's
chances?
Talking about this thing in this random 2 years old interview I'm watching with his white goatee and everything, and then he fucking releases the album.
But then that's why I said to you, maybe it's just because his album came out and he, some of his videos kind of became on trending or maybe something that you would be interested in or something.
He describes how he wanted to release the album at the exact right moment, and that he would know when the time was right, when the world was ready to receive it.
Right.
That time is now, ladies and gentlemen.
Apparently. But what was really fascinating is I found 3 separate release dates for this album. If you check Wikipedia, it came out at the end of 2016. If you were part of Apple Music, you've had access to this album since at least February or March or something like that.
Oh, really?
But according to his YouTube channel, social media,
May
Genius,
19th.
Everything else, it's fucking May 19th. So given, all the other stuff we were reviewing for the other shows, it didn't make sense to fit it in. We wanted to cover that other stuff, but we also wanted to do David Banner. So I said, this could be a classic one day. It's not a shallow album by any means.
So we kind of went on a little step into a foreseeable classic album.
Yeah, that's my defense. Look, I do not want to call this a classic, but to be fair, we're not really calling any of the album's classics on this show.
Well,
we're
we're giving them our rating.
We're looking through alleged classics, right?
To
determine stuff. So there's nothing to say that a 2015 album can't be so substantial in what it brings to the table.
Yeah, that's true.
Anyway, that's my defense for pushing for this. Then Bonnie's like, I want to do the next album choice. And so she picked the next one, which we'll tell you at the end.
Stay tuned.
So on that note, Bonnie, when did you first encounter David Banner?
Last week.
Fair
As
enough.
usual.
Chris? You?
While back, actually. Way while back.
That makes sense.
I can't even remember
his last album was 7 years ago. He had singles with Wayne and stuff. This I found out while
maybe
researching.
I've heard him. I don't know.
Banner.
See, I don't know anything about him as a rapper. I think maybe whatever. But see, one of the songs I listen to on repeat on my phone right now is the Ludaversal intro by Ludacris, right? From his latest album. And the very first thing you hear there is David Banner beats, right? And then he goes in, and it's a fucking sick beat and a sick track. So I know him as a beat maker, actually, a lot more than I know him as a rapper. And I was watching. Apparently, he did rap, he did movies,
and he's an activist. That's for damn sure.
He did some good music back then.
And so I'm like, okay, he apparently came from the South, did the South thing, and then took time off, I guess, to go do all the other shit he was doing. So beats and movies, and then he wrote this album, and I guess you guys, I don't know. What did you think when you found out it was called The God Box?
I thought it was going to be very religious, also a little bit political, a little bit talking about race as well. Because God is very universal, you know what I mean? Yeah. It's very universal. It's a very big concept. So to incorporate that title, I feel like he was going after everything around him at the current moment. Plus, there's a lot of shit happening in our world right now, so...
Yes.
I kind of had an interesting idea about it. I was kind of thinking it more as a tangible item. and like maybe that his CD comes in like a box or whatever, or even just like the case is considered a box, and you open it and like the case itself is the God box, and it within his music is maybe some sort of way to
That's
God.
Cute.
Yeah, I
That's
don't know.
dope.
Maybe.
I kind of felt like it could have gone two ways. Either he's super pretentious and arrogant and he's the savior.
Which I think he is a little bit.
A little bit, and then more what I guess the real thoughts I had on it were more, it's kind of like this is the knowledge that like God would have put into the Bible or whatever. So let me like take the knowledge of God and package it in a box so rap music
save you.
that you can use. And I thought it was an interesting idea.
What'd you think of the album cover?
It's white.
It's pretty.
It's his face
Beautiful.
to a side shot and with cosmos in it. So I guess it's saying that inside of his head is the path to the stars, his knowledge.
Omnipotent.
Otherwise, it's okay. It's definitely it's a mid player in terms of quality as far as album covers go.
Fair enough.
But it's cool looking.
Fair enough.
It's better than Incubus 8.
I like the dark pink and purpley, bluey colors, so I think it's
galaxy resemblance is pretty cool as well. So
fair enough. I don't know. I think we should start talking about this album. It was quite exciting to me. So on that note, what do y'all know about the Magnolia?
it's a tree.
Was used in the lynching of blacks. Branch crack, broke her arm just so his neck would snap. And if I wouldn't rap, I'd probably meet the same damn fate. From the same damn rope, I'm about the same damn weight.
What'd you think? What'd you think of this opener?
solid.
Damn straight, it was fucking solid. Great beat, great instrumental, great flow, great on point.
We got
rawness.
CeeLo Green.
CeeLo Green with his slam poetry. I think it was some type of slam poetry. It was amazing.
He just
It was
sounds so.
amazing.
He makes it sound so like classic.
Yes, yes. He's very smooth with the voice as well.
Yeah. And I think we also have Raheem DeVaugn.
Yeah, I'm not sure who or where they appear on the song, to be honest. So
I think maybe
Because
back,
this
back
album like
vocals.
literally just came out, and like I don't know what about him, but like there's
like
not
nothing.
a lot on the
David
interwebs
Banner
about.
is not promoting this in conventional ways.
Yeah, like you can find like the lyrics for like 5 songs. So
I
if
mean-
you want to go post the lyrics
To be
on
fair,
on Genius,
the lyrics that
we would
you're
all
finding on
appreciate
Genius
that.
aren't really from this album. They're from like the EP he released last year. to
Yeah,
promote
before the
album.
box.
Yeah. So
Still.
it just happened to be those songs.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, it's kind of an interesting concept just regarding, it's like what Bonnie was saying earlier with the God box itself. It's kind of like a little treasure hunt. You have to be willing to find the knowledge.
Sure, but this song you guys completely undersold how awesome this shit is.
Oh, no,
Like,
no.
No, this
We
song,
haven't
is,
even
this
got
song
it
is
started.
crazy.
So like the drums kick off like, and it sounds like real drummers.
Yeah.
First of all, it's not
Yeah.
like a drum machine coming in,
Mhm.
and then just Ceelo is like Mighty Mighty Magnolia, and it just that, and it like comes in, and then David Banner, he just comes in hard. But this beat, man, this beat is just so
Yeah.
powerful, like real instruments, layers upon layers
Yeah.
when you put on
Yeah.
proper
Yeah.
headphones, depth, like almost like an
Proper distinction as well between
like,
the sounds.
It almost feels orchestral in its power
yeah.
without the voices.
These songs are like so well composed.
And
Yeah.
then David Banner just comes in, and honestly, that was some tight fucking rapping right there. Like
Yeah.
that was some A game, pro shit, pro knowledge. He's coming in and kind of describing, he's coming from this place. The racism is real, basically. Is what
Yeah.
well,
he's
he's
trying
also
to,
relating it back to when black people were getting hung
yeah,
and
yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
And using like apparently the Magnolia tree. He's having
Right.
a conversation
And
with
like
it.
the Magnolia tree is also like I think like the majority of them or whatever they grow in Tennessee, and Tennessee is where the KKK
Right.
originated.
Well,
Right.
Yeah, and it was just kind of describing what I thought was interesting. It was almost like the tree was apologizing in a way.
Well,
And at
he
the
does
end,
make a
they say that
reference
the
to
tree is
saying that if the
trying.
tree could speak.
And then and then the tree was saying, yeah, it was about your size, your weight. I remember carrying that person. And then
Right.
just kind of like flips into a bit more ranty stuff about, it kind of loses a bit of coherency by the end of it, a little
It's like
bit.
cops are killing,
Right.
black people.
Well, I mean,
and-
like,
And then, anyway, I don't really remember the intricacies of the rest of Banner's verse. I know he goes in and the
well,
bars
I
are
think
proper.
that the tree would they're saying that if the tree could see what's happening now and that this is still happening,
right.
that the tree would be crying.
Well, Ceelo Green actually gives it a different aspect as well.
Well, Ceelo's take is crazy about the chorus, man. Before we even get to his verse, the chorus is so morose and sad, but he sings it in such a powerful way. Like, honestly, I don't often get lost in songs like this, but this song is next fucking level. But yeah, Ceelo's verse. Ceelo comes in. Lynching. He's a black cop, and he's putting into the perspective of how this black cop goes into this white world and kind of ends up being hated on all sides, can't achieve, loses his sense of identity, and at the end, he's believing the stereotype so deeply that he fucking shoots a black guy just because he's a N-word. And I'm just like, it's just like when I come across these like mind fucks where it's like the levels of shit that black folk have to deal with that I've never even thought about. I appreciate it a lot. Like this song is excellent. Yeah,
it's sort of like a hymn, but like still like an anthem at the same time. So it's really like well composed, really interesting. I gave this one a 5 on 5.
Oh, straight up.
And I like the outro is very musical as well, and it's not one of those boring like looping out the same shit. It's like the music evolves and changes, fades, whatnot. Yeah, and I don't know, man. It's like it feels like it's longer than it is for how much is in this song.
That's what I really liked about it. The captivating power of this song is very, very intense, and I really liked how you get lost behind. I mean, David Banner's got really crazy voice. I really like his voice. He's very powerful. He's very strong with it, but you get lost into a next level of just thought and imagery behind it. It's amazing.
I'm going to give this a 5 as well. I thought this is one of the strongest starts to an album I've heard on the channel.
And, like, right away, like, the tone that is being set.
And it's honestly, like, it's not aggressive. It's almost pleading.
Well, I mean, there is some type of aggression in it, but it's not like you're trying. He's not trying to start some shit. He's trying
angry,
to plead,
but it's not aggression. It's anger and like, I don't know. Well, I guess we'll get into it.
It's aggressive.
All right. I mean, if we want to talk about aggressive, we should just talk about my Uzi.
My Uzi weigh a ton, I bought it. My Uzi weigh a ton, I bought it. Ain't got nobody go. My Uzi, I just need mighty go. My Uzi ain't got nobody.
Oh. So this song is, I think the best word to describe it before we go into anything else is hype. And then we can also add as fuck to that.
AF.
Like sentence.
AF.
I prefer to. No, it's too raw for AF. It's real enough for as fuck. Shit, man. Like
it's pretty cool.
You know what I'm liking about this song right off the jump is at first it's kind of like, yeah, I got an Uzi, I'm ready to go, and it hypes it up in like celebration of the gun on this chorus.
Well, that you can only trust
about
God and the gun.
But then you look into like the verses and what they're actually like saying, and like, fuck, man. So like the first verse, Banner paints this picture of feeling so isolated and alone, like he can't cope. He's whatever. He needs his Uzi in his land. And then,
well, I mean, given that like from the previous song, right? Everybody, he feels like he's being oppressed again, and
he's under attack.
He's under attack. So right now, his Uzi's his only person.
He grew up in Mississippi, which isn't exactly a kind place. And I know I've never really heard rap from Mississippi that I know of before.
So this is interesting. I'm excited about like. Diversifying this a little bit.
I guess the racism is definitely more extreme where he's coming from, so his anger's whatever. Yeah. But anyway, like then you got like K.R.I.T, who I kind of know what a big K.R.I.T is, another fast Southern guy.
He sounds like a little K.R.I.T.
Oh man, he was fucking dope though. Like his flow is really hype, and he kind of brings some more of like the street side of what's happening and why you'd want an Uzi from like the street end of it. But we're not even done there, because meanwhile the beat's flipping, right? Because it's not even like the beat staying the same. It's like literally it just keeps evolving.
Everything just keeps fucking
and then like
changing.
after K.R.I.T's verse, you're like, okay, the song kind of sounds like it's ending, but no, there's a third verse. And on the third verse, he's kind of describing why the civilians feel the need to be armed against the police, and how, in light of all the violence and everything, they're not just going to stand there and take it.
It's kind of like it's a big message of just everybody nowadays kind of feels like they need a gun to be protected.
Man, and like the fight that black people still have to do.
And like when I've looked into like interviews in Chicago, I've been watching like all these little old ladies being like, look, what do you want me to do? I now bought a firearm and I know how to use it, because when I'm walking
what choice do they have?
And so it's kind of like it's taking all angles of why a person from this world would want to need a gun.
They touch
on like the Baltimore uprising as well.
And yeah, I don't remember which specific ones was brought in, but I know that it was really interesting just to see how he was kind of like, look, we're going to shoot the police only because they're coming at us, and we're buying this for our protection, not to be the assailants in this, and it's fucked up. And then all of a sudden, like, the song feels like it's ending, and then orchestral, beautiful
I love it.
minutes, and
I
it kind
love
of sounds
it.
like
It's like a soundtrack
to like
or
a Disney movie.
Yeah.
And I'm picturing the little
Sounds
butterflies
awesome.
and shit.
Yeah,
And then-
it threw me off at first. I was like, what the
And like,
yeah,
you're like,
it-
did the
I
song
know. I was
change?
like, wait a second. What, like,
And
it's
then-
that like
And then all of
random.
a sudden, my
Uzi
Uzi weigh a ton,
on
and you're like,
body.
Yeah.
oh.
So he's like rapping on this like
And he's
you
just
know,
trying
what
to
could
be
be
like-
like a like a Jurassic
It's kind of
Park
like
or something.
he's
I don't
kind
know
of
what
like
it is.
glorifying the protection that's being needed.
I feel like
in
he's
a
trying to
way.
like paint the imagery that to them this Uzi gives the same feelings of comfort and everything that we would get from
Yeah.
watching like a Disney movie or The Lion King.
Yeah.
And in their world, that is what. And I was just like,
Or maybe like what white people are seeing is like entertainment,
yeah,
like a movie.
I didn't even consider that. You see, this is good, David Banner. David Banner, you done some deep shit here.
I almost feel like I shouldn't even like this isn't made for me at all. Like I feel like
Nah.
I don't know how
See,
he's even gonna feel about
I
like
feel
white
like
people
he
watching.
was
this.
writing like he. I feel like it's good. Like when we come across these things, it's also meant for us to actually
as a reminder.
not so much a reminder, but part of the problem is we don't understand. And,
True.
and if you really look across the board, I've been on this huge campaign to try to talk to people about issues like this, and we don't understand because we've never lived the reality. So the more of these little pieces of the reality that I can absorb and see, the more I can understand a little bit more, even
about
though
what's really going
I'll
on.
never live it. And I guess it helps me acknowledge where the line of my privilege really is and shit. Not to sound all fucking cheesy, but shit's real. That's all I'm trying to say. I give this a 5 because this is a truly magnificent fucking experience. The first 2 songs blowing away. I'd give 6s to both if I could.
Yeah, they're both pretty fantastic. I also gave it a 5 because how could you not? Like it's just like even if you didn't like what he was singing about or whatever, like just like the composition of the song is like amazing.
And then it made me think back to Public Enemy, My Uzi Way
Yep.
a Ton.
Yep,
And,
that's the
like-
first. The minute I heard my Uzi Way at times, the first thing I was like, all right, let's go.
And
Public Enemy
apparently
represent.
That's a clip of Pimp C from UGK being reused for the My Uzi Way a Ton part. It's actually
Really
a sample.
nice.
So yeah, that was a fun little anecdote on this song. I don't know, it's fucking fantastic.
Yes, definitely check it out. It's cool.
Holden, what'd you give it?
5.
Man, jeez,
5?
pay attention. I'm in love with the song.
5 on 5.
The
as
question is, who want it as bad as I do?
Revenge like Roxanne. My man swam him from Mississippi. Goddamn, y'all fall for anything. That's the shit I cannot stand. We on that CMB, basically all we got, fam.
So Holden, tell us who wants it.
I don't want this one as much.
Uh-oh.
No, I'm not trying to be a hater. Look, I feel like he created this like experience on those first 2 songs,
Right,
and this
right.
one, it was an extreme.
Kind of like
it
set
was
the
a bit of
bar
a-
up here
It
there.
was a bit of a
And-
come down.
Yeah, like and it's not bad. Like it's a great song. First of all, I love the beat. The dun, 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 dun. That's
Beat
a
is
great
very,
sound.
very, very
Yeah.
cool.
I like right away that again it's instruments. He's clearly trying to come at this album from multiple sounds and styles. And when people do that, the end result is going to be you're never really going to love every song the same because there's so many different sounds and styles in
Yeah.
place
Right.
here. So I'm okay with that, but it's still well produced. But honestly, it wasn't as like the beat kind of stayed the same. It didn't have that like
Change, diversity.
You know, and that's
Yeah.
what really captivated me in the first 2, and I guess that kind of hurt it a bit. However, his rapping, all right, he fit it exactly.
But you know
right.
what? I liked how he changed from the angry tone to more of a serious, concerning tone of what he's trying to say in the
I
song.
still don't think he was angry on
And he
either
starts off
songs
with,
in
like-
the same kind of angry. It was more of like a patient, fatherly kind
Okay,
of
I see
way,
that.
right? Like
Because he is 43 years old, so let's just put
not
that
a
into
young
perspective.
little kid, you know.
He's not a 19-year-old.
Anyway, what was he trying to say, Chris?
Oh, well, I just took away from the song that people are just trying to figure out what he's doing. That people just want to kind of get into his game. I also took away that it's just who wants to know more about, like, who wants to know what's actually happening. That's mostly what I
And a
got
lot
from
of
it.
But it's more
validation.
like who's actually caring.
Yeah, because he's pointing out that his influences are highly political. He's trying to learn. He's trying to get knowledge on. And when he looks around at all the different stuff he sees, he's like, well, like, who actually wants this? I could write the best fucking album I could write the most knowledge ever, but who wants it? Because
Like, he just gets swept under the rug all the time.
and I think one of the most profound lyrics I've heard, I don't remember which rapper dropped it, was if y'all want like fucking woke lyrics so bad, why isn't Killer Mike number one? And it's like, well, he's right. I think it might even been Kendrick or one of those guys. And it's true. It's like nobody really seems to want that conscious woke shit right now in light of how everyone wants to quote unquote hashtag stay woke. You know what I mean?
Hashtag stay woke while we turned up in a club on fucking so much
And
shit.
there's nothing wrong with being turned up, because one of the beauty parts of this album is if you look at, let's say, My Uzi, that's a club banger.
Right.
You
Yeah.
could be faded off your mind and grind to that shit. And
Right.
then one of the things he said he wanted about this album is he wanted to have like the duplicity of the live experience, the superficial side to the song. But then when you go home and really absorb the music after the fact, like you
Yeah.
can really think about
I think
the
it would be really
message.
fun to see him live.
Yeah. And
Oh,
like,
of course.
I kind of liked the song. But as I said, it wasn't quite the same level of depth and dopeness of the last two. I gave this one only a 4.
No, it's not too bad. I also gave it a 4 as well. I really liked what he was trying to do with it. It wasn't as captivating as the other two, I have to agree. But I really like what I took away from it as just people don't need to really know what's really going on.
I also wasn't really sure exactly where Black Thought's verse was due to the lack of Genius lyrics and how similar they were to Banner. I'm pretty sure WatchTheDuck is the chorus person, because they appear later on.
Well, I found it sounded they flowed really well together. I thought they had like a really good like symmetry in their sounds. The very first thing about this song is that he shouts out like the number 215, which is the area code for Philadelphia, which I thought was like interesting, like because I don't really know where he's from, and like well I know where he's from, but I don't know where he lives like currently. But then he also talks about like Tupac, and he talks about a lot of other things.
Could also be one of the other guys' area codes.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, I just thought it was interesting, you know, like why he's, you know, look into why they're shouting Philadelphia out. But anyways, I thought it was an okay song. I gave it a 4 on 5. It was still good, but like it definitely was a come down after the last two.
Fair enough. You know what? You know who wasn't a come down? Who had a very fun performance?
I
Oh,
wonder.
Elvis.
Like that's what Usher's supposed to do, and that's Elvis, just like Elvis. We won't buy no music, and everybody is selfish. Elvis.
Everybody likes a song about how white people are stealing black music.
Yeah.
And you know what? I don't disagree with him.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, even as a white rapper?
I think part of what made me actually start caring so deeply about the plight of the black person is that I'm a white rapper and I watched what happened to Macklemore. And I'm like,
And they showed him out too.
I don't ever want to be Macklemore, where you come in and you play a role and it turns out you didn't really understand the role you were playing, and then they all turn on you for whatever reason. Like, I don't want Grammys at the cost of a black dude, because frankly, I am a guest in this little industry per se, and I recognize my role in this, and I'm gonna keep rapping. But I've even thought about getting a band and dropping the hip-hop side just to kind of even make it more clean and more true to my roots. Not that I'm going to do that per se, but it is a conversation. But if you really listen to what he's trying to say, it's not that we as the white rappers are the problem. It's the industry in and of itself. He goes into Def Jam, and Def Jam replaced, you know, all of these great black voices with people like Justin Timberlake and Adele. And then if you look, you see
Robin Thicke.
and Iggy Azalea as another example. And if you look at what, you know, from the perception of them, he's basically like, what's the point of being a black rapper? You know, like, really, what's the point? You can't drop smart shit. You can't be this way unless you're a Macklemore. So David Banner dropping this album, it's going to get completely drowned out. If I wrote an album that even touched on the same subject and I did it perfectly safe and I did it all right, I'd get more play because I'm a white guy saying this shit than for any other reason. And he's fucking right. So, I don't know. I don't feel guilt per se for pursuing the life I've chosen, but
Fair enough.
it is my obligation to recognize that I am intruding, and I don't want to replace black music, and it's not the goal, but the studio executives are doing this, and they're pushing it, and the mass consumption. And then one of the things I thought that was fascinating is these people are selfish. Like, we don't support our communities.
Yeah,
we're not
that's something
supporting
that he
these
says.
artists.
But we're not supporting local either. Like bunch of locals too are not.
But I think that he's
But let's be real.
like specifically pointing out
If
in this
you-
case, like the
Right.
blacks
I
aren't
can
helping
tell
the
you
blacks.
something, man. White dudes from Montreal get a lot more push outside of Montreal than, let's say, black guys from Montreal might get because
Right.
of how marketable. Like, let's say if you find a young MGK type, boom, you can put money behind that. It's going to pop. But and then if you really look at who's, like, owning rap, it's becoming a whiter industry. And if you walk into Def Jam, and Def Jam's not even signing black people no more, that's a problem. And I'm not saying it's that extreme. I'm saying he's looking at this from a perspective of white people are stealing our culture, and he's not.
Yeah,
like,
but he's
fully
also comparing
wrong.
that
Right.
to
I mean,
Right.
like
look
how
at-
white people stole
look at
rock
how
and roll
I'm,
and
like, We're
Elvis.
rocking the hoodies and shit. I got that from hip hop. I didn't get that from nothing
Oh,
else.
but I totally agree though. Like I felt the same way after I heard this song. At first I was like, is he relating? I understood it when he said, "Don't let them take hip hop like they took rock and roll." I was like, wow, like.
Well, it's not even a new idea, but it's a good idea.
Right, it's not a new idea, but that's when I understood it. But at first I was like, I didn't really understand the connection between Elvis and everyone else.
Because the same,
And then,
it's the same thing's happening again with hip hop. And if you really think about it, it's not so much that black people can't do it, but if you look at the lanes, right? White people keep getting the classy, fucking nice lanes. It's almost like Hollywood typecasting and the rules hip hop is assigned. Look at G-Eazy, #1 airplay, classy guy in the suits, in the Soho Lost proper. Look at Yachty. He's kind of fucking all over. And even
but I mean, Yachty kind of.
But by
They
comparison,
both choose to
but-
do what they do.
Of course, but by comparison, they choose to do what they choose. Yachty even made it clear, this is what's going to get me paid, I'm going to do this. He's trying to get paid. And then the attitude and stuff, you just kind of see how the corporate execs push this type of branding on black people, this type of branding on white people. I mean, I have to rap in a suit because it's better for my career. For real. If I rapped like dressed up in any other way, it wouldn't work. But because I would do that, I would be given better opportunities and be taken more. I'm telling you, I've gone into shows dressed in a suit
Everybody plays someone.
and had the bar owner come and talk to me like I'm the only rapper worth a dime. Even without even talent, just because I think it's crazy. But if the black guys come in and try to do this, they get told, go and push this lifestyle. So I get where he's coming from. The big ups are doing what they've done forever, and the appropriation of a culture is happening, and everyone's kind of so blind to it. And I don't know. I give this a 4.5 on 5.
Fair enough.
It doesn't like evolve at all beat wise, but the message is so strong and it fits so nice and it's a good earworm. I really like it.
Fair
Yeah,
enough.
I really like this one. I give it a 5 on 5. And also a thing about Elvis is that I'm pretty sure that like there was like a rumor, or maybe it is true. Like I'm not 100% sure on like the story of it. Was that he did steal like his like some of his moves or like the way he maybe sang or something like that. Like he got like that inspiration because he grew up I think in like Tennessee, right? So like he was from the South, and I think that he was around a lot of black people then, and like I think he got a lot of inspiration from the black people that were around him. So they say that maybe like he stole like that, and like that's kind of the start of rock and
It's even
roll.
more to the point is that a guy like Chuck Berry really invented rock and roll, but the way we look at it now is Elvis is the king of rock and roll, but it was never really true. It was just
Right.
And BB King with his
branding, right? So white people snatched rock and roll in the same way that we're living through this moment of white people starting to snatch hip hop. Anyway, I don't know. What did you give it?
Oh, I just totally agree with you on everything you have to say. That's mostly what I got from it. I gave it a 4 on 5. I like the song. I like the way he presented it. I like the references. Although I wouldn't really bump it every single day. But other than that, he did a really good job on it, and I appreciate for what it is. So
Fair enough. Yo, the next track makes me think of Britney Spears, like If You Meet Amy.
or
Hey, my nip, why you call yourself that? Hey, my nip, you supposed to be a god. Hey, my nip, why you call yourself that?
First of all, Trinidad James? Like, you can, like, really?
Yep.
I checked, the guy's still bumping albums and shit. He's an active rapper. I was like, fuck, wow.
he's mediocre.
Gold on a match. Anyway, this is not that song. This
I don't
song
know,
is
so-
fucking great.
This
Holy
song is
shit.
fucking great. I like how he is questioning the way people use the N-word.
And just the entirety of like almost black culture as it's sold in the media. Like I
Right.
love the fact that he pisses off fashion brands. But man, this chorus, she's like,
Yeah.
hey, my. Why you call yourself that? That's that.
Yeah.
We were discussing how would we sing along with this chorus because you can't like sometimes I'll throw in the word cracker to replace it. You just can't do that.
And then that's what I was saying. I'm like, well, you can't just replace it because then it changes the tone and like the direction of the song, and then you make the song about white people, and that's kind of like
not exactly
you
what
know
the song's
what?
about.
It's, it's clearly about black people, so we know what word is being used.
But what's super fascinating is how he says that like really loud, like that's the chant, and then why you call yourself that? You're supposed to be a god.
Yeah,
and you're
because
just
you're
like,
supposed to be like,
it's like
it's sort of like if you're religious, then you're supposed to be channeling God through you.
But even,
and like,
even like more to that, like he's just saying, look at your heritage, look at
like,
where
why
you come
are you calling
from.
yourself
This
that?
is the term that the white man gave you back in the day. This is the culture they used to enslave and trap you today.
But I mean, isn't that like also why they use it too? Like I've also been told from some of my black friends that they use the word because it reminds them of that time and it gives them some type of empowerment in a way.
Which is an okay thing. Like I don't want to dispute the validity of that, but I'd like to drop some psychology on this.
But you can't stay stuck in the past either.
Hear me out. So if I were to go up to you, Chris, and I were to call you a stupid motherfucker every day and tell you that I believe you are stupid, every single day, you would inevitably start to believe you were stupid, at least next to me. And if I were to look in the mirror and call myself stupid every day, I would inevitably think I am stupid. In the same way, he's trying to say, look, when you call yourself this every single day, you actually start to embody this type of personality. Yeah. And so the language that we're using to describe ourselves is really fucking important. Now, it's not at all my place to come in here and say you should or should not use a controversial term like this.
Do what you feel.
That would be ridiculous. But I can tell you that if you use a word created by white people to trap you,
and you're calling it to other people. I don't know. I
look
think
at
anybody
it like,
should use it.
I don't think it's positive in any way you want to ever spin it. It'll never be a positive word. No, it won't be because the root power of words doesn't change, and that's something that people don't get. Like I hate the word nice because nice means foolish.
He really does.
Foolish, pleasant, and agreeable. So it's like you're a fake as fuck, foolish motherfucker to be nice. Moments can be nice, but people shouldn't be. In the same way, like everything I've ever heard about how this word is personified, viewed in the black community, everything I've really learned, it seems like anyone who's really trying to advocate it from a point like it's a positive thing, not everyone, but most people are doing it from a place of ignorance. And the second education kicks in, they are not so willing to do it anymore.
He's like throwing this in your face in the most catchy fucking way possible.
Thanks, Trinidad.
And it's just interesting.
His verse
like
was okay.
Like he's basically saying like like we as a community, and I'm saying like we as in black people, not actually me, but like we as a community need to get together and like it's something else that I learned is just that that they're saying that white people are the reason why black people are on drugs and drink, and like it's the same reason that like natives give, and I'm like I didn't even ever think about that, but I mean obviously I guess that's got to be true if we brought them over as slaves then, and if
like I have a question.
They probably wanted to drink because it's miserable.
Yeah, absolutely. Is this the song where he was like, and look, because of our overuse of this word, now white people are getting so comfortable saying it that in most cases they can come up in your face and drop it, and then what you really going to do about it?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was this track, and that idea alone, and you know what? I am a huge, from like the era of you're just not really allowed to say it, but I find myself having to have more and more conversations with white people about how it's not okay, and somehow reverse racism gets thrown in and all sorts of other bullshit, and I'm just like, that's fucked up. Like, I'm a Jew.
It's just gonna
if you
keep
call
going.
me a fucking kike, I have a serious problem with that. You're not a Jew. Don't do that. It's like, I get it a little bit. Now, I would never want to compare the words or to be a Jew as a minority. We are a special breed of minority in this world. But I can understand how it's not really that, like, other people can just decide this type of shit. And I like how he says that it has to come.
Cracker should be used anymore. I mean, cracker. I mean, if you're saying that to another white person, when you think about why it's called that, it's because of the crack of the whip when we were like.
But I think that from my perspective,
slaves.
if
and
the
like,
word
that's
is
not a nice thing that you should call someone.
But I feel like I would honestly use it more in hip-hop to even further myself as identify that I know where I come from. I'm aware of where I come from, and I use this word to recognize that this is where my heritage is, and I can't forget that. And regardless of how ugly the history of the white people is, we have to start admitting that this is who we were and, like, actually address it. It doesn't matter if my fucking relatives did some shit or not.
We've all done something bad.
Forget all that shit. The fact is, my life is easier just because, and theirs is harder, and a lot of this album brings it to life. Anyway, this has been a lot of talk on this one.
A lot of tangenty stuff, sorry.
Songs of 5 on 5.
I'm certain that that's what Davey wanted, right? He didn't want to have some album come out that was like whatever. The fact is, we've done some reviews where the lyrics are so shallow that really there's nothing to talk about. This one, it's like we haven't even talked about the beat on this, right?
Oh, and this is the second song also that he mentions that he like wants to be able to shop locally, and like he doesn't support designers that don't go to the hood. So he's not gonna buy, you know, Louis Vuitton and like in this song specifically he goes against I think Nike and no, it's not this one.
It's fine.
I don't know, it was the other one. He goes against Nike and Jordans.
Wasn't it white folk that made those logos?
I don't know. I think it's more what she's trying to say is that
like if they can't come to like their
like, look,
community because they're scared
you
or
look
whatever.
in your local community, even in Montreal, there's a bunch of little shops all over that sell locally created and designed shit. Now, when you go to Versace, you're not throwing money at people in the hood trying to come up. He's saying go to the, like literally, I live 2 blocks from this tiny little fucking black operated clothing store, and I have the choice. Do I go buy it from them and support my local community, or do I go and buy it on Amazon? And then it's like that kind of decisions.
Yeah.
I guess that's more where he's going with it. Anyway, 5 on 5, for real. Perfect fucking track for me. I really dug this shit.
Yep. I gave it a 4.5 just because it's not one I would want to listen to every day, but it's still amazing.
And you, Chris?
5 on 5.
All right, so that was a long conversation. This is apparently not going to be the shortest review.
Sorry.
Hopefully we're done by fucking August.
I swam right through it. I salmon with the flow, the way I move through the fluid, spit through it. Red fluid seeping from your Caesar. Selfish with the mic, a Mississippi Ebenezer. Yeah, Chef Curry.
So August was short.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was a little
1 minute
interlude.
23.
It was really cool. I thought he was, at first glance, I thought he was talking about God himself. And I got this little hint that he was referring to God as a woman.
Yes.
Right?
Dark-skinned
woman. That was really cool. I liked how he did that switch up. What are your thoughts?
I like how he almost questions what is the God box, and he like has what is the God box and whatever, and then he kind of almost tries to answer the question, and then I feel like there was a bit of attack against people who perpetuate the negative stereotypes and their influence on people.
Okay.
And it was a little scattered, and so yeah, there was a couple of lines about how God's like an African queen.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, it was nice. He sounded like Cannabis, the rapper, when he was going. For those, you might disagree with me, but just the pitch he used, and it was cool. I like how consistently 6 tracks, 6 completely different sounds. I'm mad impressed by this. But I give it a 4. It was kind of short. I would skip over this a lot just because there isn't enough to really get into. No. But for the album, it's really nice. It's a good way to start, like, it's a good, like, break to bring up what the God box is and shit, you know?
To finally acknowledge what he's trying to do with it, yeah. I also did give it a 4 on 5 as well. Not really much else to say about it. It's really cool how, like I said, it's really cool how he relates to God being a woman. And also led me to believe that the next couple of songs are going to be about women. And...
Yep, that's how I was going to go. He's kind of flipping the tempo a bit of the album.
Yep. And for me, for this one, I gave it a 3.5 on 5 because I thought it was kind of weird. Like, still good, but just weird. And I like that he says, like, I love me too. And it had, like, almost a little bit, maybe just because I'm coming off of it, but, like, a little bit of, like, that MF Doom kind of sound because it had, like, that kind of TV voiceover, that girl that was, like, asking the questions and stuff.
Okay,
so,
I see that.
You know, like, maybe he was just kind of giving, like, that type of, like, sound a try.
Maybe. I feel like it was a good interlude, really. Mm-hmm. Anyway, you guys want to just move on to Cleopatra Jones?
Yes.
Cleopatra Jones.
She swung through them jeans like locusts. I know she a queen, but I still want to poke it. Cleopatra Jones. Cleopatra Jones. Cleopatra.
How did you feel about Cleopatra Jones?
Cleopatra Jones.
Well, I mean, it was good and catchy, but, I mean, it, I don't know. I find him a little bit vain, a little bit in this one. Since
Why?
because he has David Banner, you sexy ass fuck, or whatever it is that like the girl
That's
says.
okay. He is a bit of a sexy fucker.
So yes, he's a good looking fellow. I'll say that much
And
for
he's got
him.
his beautiful bleached white goatee.
Very fancy, very fancy.
I like the imagery of Cleopatra being the really powerful black empress lady, and Jones, the common black last name there.
Yeah.
Putting it together. This is like just a love song to like the African queen.
About the girl he's
that he wants
infatuated
to
with.
fuck so badly. And he's real descriptive and...
Is that the sound that you make?
The sound and the action is just like, yeah.
Chris is fapping. If anyone wants to know, you can like check it if you weren't listening. And I don't really feel this one as much, but I appreciate it, right? Because we just watched that Dear White People episode, chapter 4, where it really kind of shows the struggle of how underappreciated black women are. Now, when you take that into consideration, writing a song that's an adoration to like an African queen type lady is actually a very important thing for how little it's done. To worship features that are never really rapped about, and to go in the opposite of the typical European direction. My problem is just the sound on this song is whatever. It's not quite as great. Like the rapping is technically good. I don't like the beat as much. I don't feel myself getting into it.
I have to admit that the beat's not as heavy as the previous songs that we have listened to, but it is a nice, smoother track that I did like, given the tone for the track itself.
It's okay. It kind of feels like a bit of a club-ish attempt. I don't know. I get it. I get what he's trying to do with it, and I love the message of what he's trying to accomplish with it. I'm okay with him writing this like he's about to bust a nut fucking track that he wrote here. I just don't really feel it that much. 3.5 on 5. I know I'm not the right demographic for this. Don't sue me.
Fair enough. Well, I don't have much else to say about it, but I gave it a 4 on 5. I really liked the beat. I liked what he was trying to do with it. I also did like the fact that he empowered women with Cleopatra as powerful, and yes, the common black name of Jones. So.
Yeah, he just ripped off my idea. Thanks, Chris.
Yep.
Anyway.
Anyways, I also gave it a 4 on 5. I thought it was catchy, but not his best. I did. What was the one thing that I wanted to say? Oh, the one thing that I noticed was that there was like a quote that was and like kind of like a feeling at one point that was I'm pretty sure they say they crept and we came, and they say it like Bone Thugs and Harmony, and so I was like, hey, I know those guys.
She's all proud.
That's right.
So this is good. Like, I mean, you know, I wouldn't have ever known that was like a thing from them. Just like I didn't really know the thing from Public Enemy, that you said before.
But weigh a ton.
Yeah. So I mean, I caught that, and I thought that was nice. But that's all I really have to say.
That's fair. Hey, Bonnie, you want to marry me?
Oh boy.
This wasn't a real proposal.
I wanna put you first. If you wanna get married, you can marry me.
This song is amazing. The first time I heard it, I was like at work when I played the album. I was like, "Hey, slow song." And I didn't really want to hear it.
Boys to Men, you're getting into that kind of feeling.
But when you really listen to the fucking words and you really look at the power in this stuff, it was like, drop the mic dope.
Yeah.
I mean, the crux of this song is, look, I know the reputation black men have, but I'm here. I will marry you if you need to be married.
He wants to make a difference.
Like,
he wants to change the stigma.
It's like, listen, I know how most men appear, but like, don't give up hope. There is somebody out there that will want to marry you, and then...
And he goes around the world asking, like, women and girls everywhere around the world if they want to marry him.
All I can say is Rudy Currence has one of the dopest voices. Like, for real.
And it has, like... Sorry.
Soulful, deeply beautifulness to it, and like it's believable. And Banner, he chooses to not go in per se and come at it with this smoother, softer flow.
I really enjoyed that tone.
He has like Tech 9 versatility on this fucking album so far. I gotta put it out there.
Yep.
And you can just tell that it's not so much about like maybe just being sluts about it. It's just to try to paint the idea of love that's so deep that they want to get married, and just to paint.
And like
this
they talk
thing.
about like the wedding day and like the different things that are going on, and like it's a really cute song, I think, but like it's hard as well. Like there's kind of two sides of the story, and it is like a very sort of calming, like chill, like romantic-y sound because it has like that kind of slow like Spanish guitar at the beginning and at the end, which is really nice. So again, like he's kind of like branching out and trying different sounds, which I think is so cool.
Right.
What's really fascinating is so we go from August, where we find out God in his mind is this African queen, to which he desires her in this next one, and now he's proposing to her and being like,
There's
"I wanna
like a
marry,"
humble side to it
and
of
it's
wanting
really cool
to be honest.
see like these flow. It's an interesting. It's almost like the first few songs are the protest part, and then now it's more like the adoration of black women part. And this is like an album, a box that contains all these little things relevant to build strength in
Different
the black
concepts
community.
and ideas that help grow within the experience.
But I give "Marry Me" a 5 because I'm a sucker for this shit.
Aw.
Honestly,
You are.
these super deep, romantic, like you can just tell it's like, oh, I believe in love again type shit. And I don't even care if you're white or black or whoever. When men sing like that, like, it makes me want to go look into rings and shit. Relax yourself, and you know, just kind of like. 5 on 5.
Still nothing,
It's
still
really
nothing.
good.
Well, I'm not sort of into that type of stuff, so I gave it a 4 on 5 because I can see that it's a really great track. So
He's like, I'm scared of the ring.
Yeah, I also give it a 4 on 5 because I mean this is not a song that you want to listen to every day, but it's still
yeah,
a
it
good
is.
song. But no, but you know,
is
I think
HSR dropping hints?
no. But anyways,
Better
well,
not
let's
be
just
doing
hope
it
that
on
he
the
didn't marry
podcast.
Judy. I want to say Judy Bloom, but
It's
Judy Blair.
Judy.
They call her Judy Blair. They call her Judy Blair. They call her.
This is so cool, this song.
I
This
just came
song.
up with a theory.
It's got all sorts of rock band elements, and he introduces the
It's a very
band.
rocky kind of like.
Dun, dun, dun. But it's also got that hip hop fusion sounds mixed in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is bless as
And like a
fuck.
little like metal-y even, like I would say. I don't know.
I'd stick more with like a pop rock sound.
Okay.
And yeah, no.
Well,
Chris,
this
what's
one-
your theory?
So this song is called Judy Blair. The last song is called Marry Me. The last song is called Cleopatra Jones. And the last song after that is called August. And as we know in August is that it's the God box, and he flips the image of the album into now we're talking about girls. And then on Cleopatra Jones, it's all about he wants to be with and he's infatuated with, and it's a great thing. Then he basically, for me, it's like he's asking Cleopatra Jones to marry her. But
Marry him.
Yeah.
marry him. My apologies. So he's asking Cleopatra Jones to marry him. She says no, so then he went to Judy Blair because it's a rebound.
I don't really think that's
Okay.
what happened. I think it's more
That's a
like
solid vision.
I don't actually get the point of this song.
He just
except
wants
that
to fuck Judy Blair, bro.
It's
That's
just
it.
about banging this
That's
girl.
all it is. Some girl, he just
And
wants
it's
to
so
put her legs up in
fun.
the air.
And the energy's so great.
Oh, it's
I,
intense.
I don't really think that your story makes sense, but I really
It's
like
a
this
fantastic
track.
story, I'll tell you that.
Well, thank you, Bonnie. I appreciate
And
it.
whoever the singing people on it, I forgot. Give me a second.
Devon Lewow.
Wow, Lewow indeed, man. That guy sounds cool on the fucking track. Altogether, this is my kind of jam. I love the fact that I think part of it was just to force people to listen to stuff outside of their comfort zone a little
Right.
bit and show that rap belongs.
Yeah,
Well,
It's
you've
such
been pushing me to
versatility.
try to
And
listen
then-
to some of this
then
stuff
if you
for the
consider
longest
the
time.
part where like Elvis is the creator of rock and roll, it's just that rock and roll is
like
part of black
They're
culture.
just taking it back.
And I
Right.
thought it was really cool. I gave it a 5. I thought this was a fantastic fucking jam. It was a great experience to listen to. And I don't even without fully getting the lyrics, it's just like you kind of want to. And yeah, I'm okay with him fucking Judy Blair.
I think we all are. I also gave this song a 5 on 5. It's a really great song. You've been pushing me to like listen to more music like this.
Well, just
And-
anything that's not modern hip hop.
Right, that too. And
Switch it up a bit.
I was glad that this came onto this album. I was like, wow, okay, I can actually dig this. I can do it. So yeah.
Yeah.
And
I gave it a 4 on 5. I thought it was a really cool song. It showed a lot of like, range again. Like he's switching it up a lot. I liked the one line that he was like making clear, and it said, "I don't play with love. I love to play." So this song is just about banging this girl, and this is the song that ends with like the domestic terrorist thing like taking over, and that they're gonna be taking the water, and that
Yes.
once the water becomes privatized, that they're all fucked.
And if you actually look at what's happening, Nestle's been
Like,
really campaigning
I mean-
to privatize water.
It's insane.
In California, like when they were in the middle of their drought and shit. So it's not even
Flint, Michigan.
Oh,
Still.
Flint, Michigan has poisoned water, and you're forced to now buy bottled water because you can't drink the tap water.
Yeah.
It's fucked up.
It's insane.
And if you keep on pushing it, you're gonna end up with some traffic on Mars.
True.
Traffic on Mars, smoking in the spaceship. Traffic on Mars, traffic on Mars.
Had a great beat too, more metally, kind of guitars, some hard shit going on. Okay, I'm not 100% sure what the song's about, but I think
Let's hear it.
it has to do with the criticisms of drugs influence in society, but from multiple angles, not just like the one, like why you use it, how like you'll like fucking worship the drug dealer, the same drug dealer that shot your person, how
Really?
like the culture kind of like spins drugs in a positive way, how doing it is all spaced out. But like I didn't feel like at first I was like, this sounds like he's getting high, and it's just kind of loose. But
Well,
if
I
you really
kinda,
listen
Like drug trafficking?
in a way, I took that away from it. I took
I-
drug trafficking.
I feel like if everyone's high, there's just traffic on Mars. That's kind of what I took from it. Like, you know, this whole like,
Okay, like you're floating.
and like, but
We're
the thing
all
is
simultaneously
is like the
floating. Okay.
idea of getting high is pushed on so many people, and the realities behind it are so stark, and there's almost like an agenda to getting high. And he's criticized the image that rappers and shit have put on other things. Now, I'd have to really listen to this. If you keep in mind, the lyrics aren't posted, so I was trying to decipher
Yeah,
as I went.
this is just by ear what we're hearing.
It's like, imagine the 90s. Fuck, man.
Well,
Those people
I
are
actually
troopers.
took a different side to it. You know how everybody's talking about this whole trip to Mars thing now that like humans are going to Mars and we're gonna start a colony there and shit.
That's how I took it.
I literally just went. So is David Banner saying he's gonna sell drugs on Mars?
Okay, that's not how I took it.
Like that's kind of what I just took from it. Like eventually everybody's just gonna go up that there's gonna be trafficking on Mars.
Not, yeah, sure.
Okay. Well, this song had like a kind of military sound to it.
Yes.
I found a bit. You know, it was very hard. And that there's, I think what he was trying to say in my version, was that, you know, there's a lot of problems and a lot of crap that's like happening like in his community and in like the communities of black people here, and you know, like we're spending money and time like investing in Mars, like so what there can be more traffic on Mars, and like just have like people like taking over that
sounds like it makes more sense.
and like but they're not dealing with the issues and like spending their money wisely
But
here.
there's such an emphasis on drugs in this song that doesn't exist on almost any other song on the album.
Right.
I don't know. I think it's
Like I didn't really get like a drug reference. For me, I just
Well,
thought he was
like,
thinking like the whole
I'm
investment in Mars
smoking
was
whatever
like
up in the
stupid and
cloud, like,
unbelievable.
he almost gives off this whole like bridge to getting high on Mars and putting yourself anyway.
Okay, yeah.
Like I thought anyway, it's a great song. I give it a 4. It's not quite the same level of banger. It's a little on the longer side,
It does drag on a bit.
and I had a little trouble, I guess, getting my head around it, but it's still good. It's just not quite as enthralling.
No, 4 on 5 as well.
I also gave it a 4 on 5, and I think that this was the one. Is this the one where they were talking about? They gave like that speech at the end. Like the-
No, I know what you're talking about. I don't think it was on this one.
No, it's not that one. Okay, never mind.
All right. On that note, I guess we can always throw up our black fist.
Sorry. Yes.
Christian lovers that rape their grandmothers and hung our grandfathers from trees. They enemies, blood on the leaves, blood on the streets, blood on our feet. I'm sick of walking, sick of dogs getting sick on us. I'm barking, I'm sick of spitting.
Okay, so
Like, this
black
feels
fist,
like-
pumping, aggression, fucking beat. Like, this is don't take no shit, fight for your power. This is
This
Public
feels
Enemy
like this is
in
just for black
2017,
people.
but
Yep.
actually done in an interesting way.
Yep.
Not just for black people. It's not like, I don't actually believe that that's a thing that exists, right?
But I think that that's what he's trying to say in this situation, in this circumstance. Yes, I
He's
think
trying
that's
to
what
write a
he's doing.
song saying be empowered, raise your black fist up. Now, I as a white person should understand what's happening. It's like a good thing for us to also understand the message being communicated. It
Yes.
shouldn't just be like, so is he telling me as the subject of his song? The letter's not to me, but I should still read the letter, is I guess where I'm going from it.
Fair enough.
Okay.
But like, yeah, and it's
Yeah,
really...
but he's like referencing like Malcolm X and Martin Luther King and Nelson Mandela.
Right,
and,
but
like,
it's not like we as white people can't learn anything from them
Just
as well.
keep
No,
in
no, no.
mind-
It's not that we can't learn it, but like I don't have a black fist.
No, that
Not
party.
literally.
He's not telling you to rage in the system and fight back when they're oppressing you. But I'm pretty certain if I want to show up and help, a lot of, like, he's not going to say no.
I don't know.
No, you're not allowed, Holden. You're not
No,
allowed.
and I know there are contexts where people will say, no, you're not allowed. You're not black. You can't. No, fuck that. To me, it's like, look, I'm here making the effort to learn more and more so I can help. Tell me how. And I feel like in a song like this, it's again, understanding. And then you watch that video, and oh my fucking word. It's the only video on the album.
It's scary. It's violent.
Bye-bye, pop. Bye-bye, cop.
So it starts off with, like, the cop sitting there watching his own fucking thing of where he gets let off after killing some black people. And then a knock on the door. He gets knocked the
It's
fuck
revenge
out.
time.
And then the whole video is, like, David Banner
Repent.
orchestrating torture. And then there's, like, a black court where they make him, they take
There's
his
like a
innocent
lynching
thing.
thing.
And then they fucking, David Banner just fucking stabs him directly himself.
Like more than once.
And it's
Three.
like
Like in
fucking
the heart.
like, it's some deep shit. They beat the fuck out of him. And you know what? He wasn't like Chris thought it was trying to promote violence, right?
No, I didn't think it was trying to promote violence. I think he was just advocating,
He's
like,
very angry.
yeah, like not. I don't think he's really trying to say go out and kill a cop
Which
or
is exactly what the disclaimer says.
right. Like
But I
it's not
think-
what it's that he's trying to
I
do.
think he's
but
trying to capture the rage.
yeah, he's trying to capture the rage, and I think he's also trying to advocate, like, stand up for what you believe in, but like. You don't, as
Don't
you said,
kill someone for it?
don't go
I
out
don't
and fuck
know.
up your city, but make a video about
So
explaining
that's
what
what
you're
I
trying
thought
to
he
do.
was trying to do. I feel like David Banner has analyzed this situation for a very long time. And
This one was with Tito Low. Let's not forget.
Tito Low.
And so he went out there and he's trying to, like, set the example of saying this is another way to express your rage, another way to create shock, to get the point across, right?
Right.
And I think that's where his point is. Like, you know what? You have a right to be mad. Don't take no shit, right? That's the point. And then with the video, here's another way. I don't know. And he's not taking shit with that video. He didn't hold back. Like, that shit was. I'm shocked I haven't heard about it by now. Is all I'm trying to say.
Well, I mean, there's been worse videos.
I don't know. That was pretty fucking bold.
But I really like
Yeah.
this song, though. I really
This
like
isn't
the
going to be on
beat.
much music.
Nah, it was short. It was sweet. It was to the point. I wish that Public Enemy album
It's only
sounded more
224
like
this
this.
one.
I give it a 4 on 5. It's
I
a
gave this a
lot.
5 on
It's
5.
dark as fuck, but I don't know. I
love
feel like
this.
I'm not a huge fan of the chorus. I get it. I just as a song, I get it. I don't like it as much.
I just love the banger aspect to it. I love what he says. I love how he does it. I just love the trap flow to it as well. I just liked it. 5 on 5.
And what did you give it?
I gave it a 4 on 5 because, like, I get it, but I feel like it's starting to sound a little bit repetitive in, like, the messaging that are, like, coming through. Like, I don't know. I mean, yes, of course, like, let's not forget that the struggle is real, and I mean that in the most serious sense.
But like this song was like literally the only song whereas the other ones on the beginning of the album were not aggressive in the way he delivered it. This is the first track where he just all out bars went in.
Yeah.
And to me, that's not the same thing. I feel like so far 11 songs, no repetition, even though he may have even in fact
it's a
repeated
similar
shit.
topics, but not the similar sound.
But a good album is gonna probably like Pink Floyd's The Wall is all about the Cold War.
Like this, this album is clearly making a point.
Right, like Pink Floyd's The Wall. So
Yes.
I'm saying it's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's okay. It's not like, I got my AK or anything like that.
Cause all my crew died while they eating steak and croutons and gray poupon. These pigs ain't fine to fuss, especially when your skin got some pigment. Granny told me to.
I don't know anybody from Mississippi in rap. If you guys can tell me who to listen to, that would be fascinating. Because that was cool. And I guess it's kind of like my Uzi, but like softer.
A little bit, yeah.
And like a lot more elaborate. Like honestly, like I felt like he's almost justifying why he felt the need to write this album on this song.
Yeah.
And random side topic, he mentions the Grey Poupon on this thing, and I just watched a fascinating video on Grey Poupon that I'll link below on how hip hop disproportionately references Grey Poupon. Like it's an insane
I don't know
amount.
anybody that's ever actually used it.
And it has to do with apparently this commercial where it was like Grey Poupon and these
From
two
the 80s
cars
or whatever.
And so he uses it here almost like you just have to get that Grey Poupon, like this useless fucking $1,000 fucking bottle of mustard. And it's not even that expensive. It's just like apparently twice as expensive as normal mustard.
It's probably like a $12 bottle of mustard, but it's like fancy Dijon.
So if you can afford to have Grey Poupon, like you're the shit. And
but I think that's actually pretty
it's
cool.
It's a luxury item.
It's like, if that's what being the shit is in the hood, I mean,
but the
it
problem,
would be referenced.
The problem with that, right, is let's say you do buy all these Grey Poupons. So I'm buying French's mustard at $4, and you're buying Grey Poupons at $12. Your bottle's even smaller than mine, so you have to buy like 2 bottles for every bottle I have to buy. At the end of the day, you're spending $24 for my $4.
Right.
Now, if you're not being thrifty and economic, like, listen, I've seen pictures where this dude like decked out his entire bathroom in polo gear. If you consider the amount of money that goes into these vain, pointless reasons, he's trying to like sell it. Like, he needs to create this knowledge-driven album because people need to understand that
don't care about brands.
A lot of the things that are like popular and pushed are not good. Like, I don't give a fuck about a brand name. I couldn't care less. If I was rich, I'd put money into savings, equity, really interesting capital gaining things.
Yay.
And I believe that he wants to go and pursue the same kind of like thinking. And again, it pulls back on the AK imagery of you have this existence and you can only really rely on it. And he's from this harsh place and etc. The singing's gorgeous. And then there's that speech that she was referencing at the end.
No, this isn't the same one. This is a different one.
Oh, there was another speech?
Yeah.
Anyway, this speech was crazy, no?
Yeah.
It just kind of talks about racism and kind of manifests how from these lands where racism first started, it still exists. And if the streets, kind of like the tree, if the Magnolia tree could see what was happening today, if the streets could see what's happening today, if you really make the comparison, it's like we're in this slavery still, but it's never really gone away.
And they say that the damage is done the second
really
a black person is born, which is like just a terrible thought. Like, like that you're just being like that black baby is, that person is going to grow up to have a difficult life and that the struggle is going to start right from the beginning and that people are going to judge the baby, like, and everything. It's ridiculous. So.
Yeah, no, it's crazy.
Yeah. And that, like, white people get to, like, kind of get away from, like the whole slavery thing that, they've moved on and, like, they're over it and whatever and, like, they can carry on and still be rich and whatever. But the people who, have the ancestors of people who were slaves or people who were lynched or both, I guess, yeah, it's like they still are kind of, like, left with the shit of what's good in society and, like, they're still judged and like, it's just a struggle, like, the entire time, that the second that they're born. So it sucks, and, like, white people have made them feel that way. And, yeah.
It's a very powerful message all captivated into one song.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, let's talk about Burning Thumbs.
Blame them hot damn it in the club, they just trying to run away from pain. What if God already came and we missed the damn boat? Ask Katrina, black folks don't.
This was a good song.
This song was like this, like, heartfelt, pained, like,
paying
cry for
respect to the people dying around him and the lives lost.
And like, why is this still happening? And it just
it's
keeps
like,
happening.
It's just the first words. I don't want to be a bitch no more.
Yeah, the ghetto is sick of being everyone's bitch. Is what he's basically trying to say.
Black people don't float the same way. And, like, honestly, it was it was slower, it was calmer. You could feel almost he's crying practically in this song.
He's giving up.
Yeah.
Dude.
And
like, it's like a breaking
every
point.
line is like his burning thumbs. These are the things that drive him crazy, and
I took the burning thumbs.
Is it either a drug reference or is it like when you're like
holding up?
No, it's like this, but I feel like he
up.
wants people to hold it there so they can feel the same pain as the ones that have lost as well.
Yeah, and like, well, it's just there's so much going on,
and
because when you go to all these vigils and candlelights and you put your lighter off, I don't know, I kind of took that.
Oh wow, yeah, I didn't even think about that.
And like, it's kind of like a calmer song, but with this, it just doesn't stop, and it's so random the whole song. That's my real fucking complaint with this: is the random, erratic, constant sound. I get it, but it didn't like it as much. I guess a 4 on 5 because it's got the power, it's got the fucking great construction, it's got everything I fucking want. It just had that thing that bothered me.
Yep.
Yeah, I also gave it a 4 on 5. I mean, he doesn't want to be like a killer. He doesn't want to be, you know, like what people think
doesn't
that
want-
are going to be in the ghetto are living like life like. Like
And
he doesn't want to be a
the
killer. He doesn't want to be
Molly.
doing
He doesn't
drugs.
want the alcohol.
He doesn't want all that stuff.
He wants to save his money and create opportunity and be a productive
Yeah.
member of society.
And then, like, you know, he talks about, like, people are killing in Chi-Town, and so that's in Chicago. And like,
Chicago's a fucking battleground. Like,
Yeah.
we're talking...
and, like, shouts
homicide
out, like,
rates of
names
hundreds.
of people who have been
Crazy
killed.
deaths
And,
going on
like,
at it.
yeah. Anyways, yeah, it's a powerful song, but I gave it a 4 on 5.
And you, Chris?
I gave it a 4 on 5 as well.
Okay.
All right, so then we should talk about the
Wizdom Selah.
outro.
And be deliberate.
So David Banner's not on this one.
It's basically just a woman sort of give it. It's like listening
Probably
to
the God Box.
yeah.
It's
It's
the
like
God
listening
Box.
to like a motivational CD.
It's like literally
And, like-
everything out of a self-help book, but wisdom, general common sense shit told
Yeah.
in a... Like, I can picture how he pictured it. You're sitting down at the end of your day. You light up a fat blunt. You put on the headphones. You put this on and you're zoned out. But all this wisdom just creeps into your head and stays there
Yep.
when you clear on. And it's a great way to close the album because this is the real last song on the album, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
And so you had his pain and everything he's experienced throughout it. And here's something to think about to go on with your day. And
It's like nature grows like naturally towards the light.
It's very...
And
so
you know,
ambient.
find your like inner peace and like
Yeah.
what gives you strength and like things like that. And like it's
Love
just this
yourself.
woman just like, you know, kind of calming you down, and like it's sort of like an exercise routine. It's like, you know, you start off with like, you know, your warm up, and then you get into it, and then you know calm down from it. And like that's exactly what I find like this to be, sort of like that. Okay, take a breath, relax, and then go back into the world.
Yeah, it's a good way to end the album.
Yeah,
took,
and it felt a little bit like
okay.
it felt a little bit like Boz Luhrmann's like sunscreen kind of message, or like something from Moby. It kind of had like that sort of feel to it
Well,
as
it's
well.
just that like kind of like ambient. Put it on in the background,
Mhm.
meditation music
Yeah.
almost.
Well, I actually took it in a way where the whole entire album was a lot of the knowledge that we're supposed to get, and now this is just like a recap
But it's
of
wisdom.
But
Everything they said was wise. That's the one thing I noticed.
Yeah.
on the album, exactly.
It almost sounds like the book of Proverbs from the Bible being read out by a woman over this beat.
Interesting.
Not like quite, but almost.
Okay.
Well, I
Anyway,
liked it though.
it's like
I
a-
gave
it's
it a
a
4 on 5.
It's a
I
4.
did give it a 4 on 5 as well.
Yeah.
All right, so the album ends, but then there's this extra bonus track that was actually off the EP, so it had lyrics on Genius.
Yeah.
Evil Kinieval bonus track.
Yeah.
How you say that don't affect us? Tuskegee, how you let them infect us? Yeah, it's fear of the black semen putting sage on a page to eradicate.
I feel like this song is like, here's a preview of what the entire album's gonna be like lyrically in 1.5 minute little thing with the dope ass military pump you up beat.
Oh yeah, it was very military.
And every bar is powerful. I like how it went political. First of all, they gave us Obama to try to like placate us. It didn't work. He analyzes the impact of the various presidents on the black community.
Yeah.
He has a lot of politically dark things.
Things to say about them.
Everything is like a bra blah 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 kind
It's
of
very
flow, like,
abrupt.
the whole way
Yes.
through. Very powerfully delivered.
It kind of like disrupts any sort of calmness that you would have had from like the original outro.
Right.
but
I think as a bonus track, it's really cool how he
Yeah.
does that, because it's like, here's the wisdom, and then we're just going to recap everything.
well, I mean, the song was already out. I think you just kind of threw
True.
it on
True.
or whatever. But
I mean, unless you did
it's-
hear the previous EP.
it's really like a good. I like the way that he doesn't waste any lines on this song. It's really about trying to capture a certain charge. Like, look, the system is fucking you.
But he's
I
there
don't,
for you.
I don't buy into this shit. Even Obama was fucking not worth it. Like, what has he done for the black community since he's got in there?
Right.
And I know a lot of people blindly follow Obama. Like, he was some great fucking thing. But I look at Obama like he's just a whitewashed dude. Like, say what you will, but nah.
Those are harsh words.
And I'm not trying to hate on the guy.
Fighting words.
I'm really not. Like, if you love him, great. But I don't see this man coming, and he promised change,
I know.
And then change didn't exactly happen. The country kind of went into a more severe
Well,
conflict.
it changed now.
And then if you really watch Obama, it's a terrible tragedy that it happened again. And that's all he did for like 5 years. And I'm not trying to be a dick about it, but that kind of sounds like a puppet to me. And
Yeah.
anyway, look, you
Different-
I think
different
he's
conversation.
expressing that, like, he wants to be there for his community, and he wants to, like, help support it and, like, support you. And, like, the fact that, like, I think at one point he kind of says that he nearly got to heaven, but he turned back because he wanted to come back for his people. Because, like, he can't even, like, how selfless is that, you know, that he couldn't even die, like, without, you know, and he thought about it, and he was like, no, he's like, I can't go. He's like, I've got to go back for my people. He's like, I got to stand up for them. I've got to do something right.
Nobody else will.
And, like, that's pretty amazing. I mean, it wasn't my favorite song, though.
I give it a 4.
I gave it a 3.5 on 5.
I give it a 4.
Nah, it was okay.
It was a bit weird, but I liked that it was very personal.
Honestly, this album as a whole is truly fun. It was a
Very hype album.
It's like, this is a rare thing. It just appeared. There's not a lot of stuff that's going to be like it, I think, this year. Because it was so intelligent. Like, a university professor wrote this album.
Well, he's older, and he was in school to get, like, a master's degree and stuff. I read about that. And, like, he's a smart guy. Like, so, I mean, he's not talking out his ass. He knows what's up.
I like that every song is distinct. Everything has a cool feel. Like, there's something for almost everyone on here. Ultimately, 4.1 on 5 is what I gave it. I think this is a classic in the making. It's not a classic yet because time hasn't proven it to be.
Yeah.
And if David Banner promotes this in any fucking intelligent way, it could really go far.
I gave it a 4.16, so that's on 5, so that's like an 83%. So, I mean, it's technically a classic so far.
I gave it like an 80%.
I got a 4.5.
What?
Nice.
Yep.
That good?
Yep.
I don't know about that good.
I mostly like a lot of the beats and a lot of the flows to it. Talking lyrically, David Banner is fucking intelligent and fucking great, but I just don't understand a lot of the messages, so I had a little bit of trouble there.
Well, it's not intended necessarily for us.
Right.
But
I think it's intended for everyone.
It's intended to, like, spread a message.
Yeah.
But
all right. Well, that's David Banner's The God Box episode.
Yes.
Pretty much it.
Hope you enjoyed it.
So like the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel for more. Let us know what you care about us reviewing. Tell us what your favorite classics are.
Bonnie, what's next week's album?
Eminem.
Which one?
It's going to be the Marshall Mathers LP.
One. Because it's worth saying that now that there's
From
two.
2000.
And then if you hit the show more, you'll see all of our contact information and holla at us and let us know what you think.
All right. See you later, guys. Have a good one. Stay safe.
Live long and prosper.
Don't do, well, okay,
I
whatever.
fucked it up.